Welcome to Office 2013 video number 18. Hey, in this video we want to dive more into PowerPoint. In our last video we created our first PowerPoint and did some basic formatting. So I want to open up PowerPoint. You either have to go down to the shortcut on your taskbar, or you can go to the Start menu, All Programs, and dig through and find your Microsoft Office 2013. If you want to add it PowerPoint shortcut to your taskbar, you can simply right click. Now mine says unpin, but you could pin it to the taskbar. If you happen to be in Windows 8, simply use the window key to get to the apps tile screen. All right, I'm going to open up PowerPoint. Now here's the amazing thing about 2013. When you open it up, you are given the option to open a blank presentation, but you can flat out jump right in and select your theme. So in earlier versions, you just click the blank presentation, and then later from the Design ribbon tab, you selected your theme. But no way, I'm going to select it right here. Now it's going to ask for what's called a variant. So I'm going to select my blue. That's what I want. And I'm going to click Create. And just like that, it gives me in the slide pane a title slide. Over here is our title slide. Click to add. So I'm going to click here. Now this is called a placeholder. There's two placeholders on this title slide. So I'm going to click and type. This presentation is going to be of Business 216, the class we're in. Now we're going to learn a keyboard shortcut to jump from placeholder to placeholder. Ctrl Enter. And then we want to put something like by your name. But where it says your name, I want you to put your name. Now here's the cool thing. If you're using keyboards the whole way, Ctrl Enter got us from the first placeholder to the second placeholder. But notice this is the last slide in the slide pane. We only have one right now. And I'm in the last placeholder. When I Ctrl Enter, it creates a new slide. Now it just so happens that PowerPoint's pretty smart. Here, this is a title page layout. But when it added the second slide, it knew to add the default, which is title and content. So we can type a title here. And then if we wanted non-bulleted content, we could go get it like insert video, insert picture. We'll do those things later on. All right, so I'm going to type, this is our topics sheet. So this will be the second slide. So I'm going to type topics. Ctrl Enter. And our topics in Business 216, we're going to start with Windows Explorer. And just like we learned a couple videos ago with bulleted or numbered or multi-level list, Enter carries that bullet in this case forward. Enter, 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 and Mail Merge. Now we've created our topics. I'm going to come and talk a little bit about the slide pane, and then we're going to switch over and talk about a different pane that allows us to do some different things called the outline pane. Now we'll come back to this slide in just a second, but here we have only two slides, and I want a bunch of slides. We certainly could create it on the fly, meaning we're in the last placeholder in the last slide and use Ctrl Enter. But sometimes you want a bunch of new slides. You can click anywhere, and when you see that horizontal line, that's where the new slide will go. Now there's a keyboard Control M that you can use. You can also in the Home Ribbon Slides group come up to New Slide. The advantage here is you can automatically select which layout you want. So title, there's our default title and content. Section header, to content, we'll come back and use that one later. Comparison, and then there's a few others here. There's still another way to enter a new slide. Wherever your cursor is, and this is a cool trick for inserting. You have 10 slides and you're like, I forgot a slide right there. Wherever your cursor is, you just hit Enter. I'm going to hit Enter, Enter, and so I've selected a bunch of slides. Now, the slide pane will allow us to do a few things. We have a bunch of slides, and let's say we want to copy or cut or delete. Guess what? our selection tricks with Control and Shift key work the same. So if I want to highlight from 5 to 3, I simply hold Shift and then click on 3, and they're all highlighted. Now I click on 3. If I want to delete just 3 and 5, what do I hold? Control. When I'm in the very last slide, and sometimes you have a lot of slides, you want to just jump to the top, Control Home. Control End will jump to the end. So those were 2 navigation tricks, Control Home, Control End, and 2 selection tricks. There is Control, there is Shift. Now I want to highlight 3, hold Shift, click on 5, and what's the keyboard shortcut for delete? Yeah, that's right, delete. All right, now I want to talk about this is the slide pane. I want to talk about the outline pane. Now they've changed things, a bunch of things in PowerPoint 2013. You used to have tabs up here, so you could switch back and forth between outline and slide. And I kind of like that because there's some tricks in the outline pane that you can't do in the slides pane. All right, now instead of using our tabs here, we have to go up to the view. And they've switched it. Normal means you see your slide and the slide pane. And there's outline view. So outline view gives us whatever the current slide is in full view on the right. And then over here, this is where we can type. And you can point to the divider here. And when you see your horizontal arrow, click and drag. Now we want to talk about the outline pane. Outline pane works just like a bulleted list. And actually, for that matter, the bulleted list over here works exactly the same. And that means when you hit Enter, a new bullet is created. I'm going to Control Z. If you Shift Enter and then hit Enter, it skips a bullet. I'm going to hit Control Z. Tab moves in a level. So if my cursor was at the beginning of Mail Merge Tab, you can see sub-bullet under Access. Shift Tab moves up a level. So those same keyboards work, and they'll work in the outline pane or on the slide. But here's how we take advantage of that in the outline pane. I've already typed out my topics, and I want exactly 1 slide of each one of these. So I'm going to copy those bullets, and at the very end, hit Enter and Control V. Now I'm going to highlight the second set. You notice over here, you can see they're all there. That's ridiculous. But outline pane. Now when I Shift Tab to go up a level, instantly I create a bunch of new slides. I have 1 slide each for my topics. If I go back to normal, I can see I've created all of my slides. Now just to show you how outline view works, if you like just typing over here, it's a more compact view. You absolutely can just type. Enter creates a new slide, but Tab moves in a level. Now it's a bullet under the Windows Explorer title. File Management. Enter and then Tab. Now we have some sub-bullets under File Management. Copy, move, delete files. Enter. Backup. Enter. Create folders. All right, so you can use the outline pane just like you would a normal bulleted list. The highest level will always be the title, and then any sub-levels are bullets and sub-bullets. All right, now I'm going to go back to the normal. And instantly we can see whatever we do over there, here's our Windows Explorer shows up over here. Can we type on the slide? You betcha. Just like we can type in the outline pane, we can click on a particular slide, come over to our slide, and all of our keyboards for bullets work the same. Business documents, Enter, Tab. Flyer, Enter. Research papers, Enter. Business letters, and then I'm going to take my cursor and click on PowerPoint. Click in the placeholder and Enter, Tab. We can have text. We can have images. We can have video. We can have paste special links. We'll see how to do all of those. All right, now I'm going to click on slide number 6 in the slide pane. And I want to change the outline. I want to have 2 placeholders. So I'm going to go to Home, Layout. And here we have 2 content. You also have comparison. Let's just take a look. If I click on 2 content, it just simply means I can have 2 contents like 2 bulleted lists or 1 bulleted list and a picture. If I were to go to comparison, this is slightly different. You could have like pro and con. So there's a subtitle for each one of the 2 sides. I'm going to Control Z. I want Excel 2 content. Calculations, Enter Tab. We can do calculations with formulas, pivot tables, Excel tables. Enter, and then I'm going to say examples. And the examples, Enter Tab. So now I'm into the 3rd bullet here. Payroll. Payroll, budgets, calculations with criteria. Looks like I don't know how to type or spell, which is true. Luckily, there's the red squiggly. Now I'm going to come over here, and Excel certainly can do calculations. It also can do data analysis. Enter Tab, and the most amazing, powerful tool for data analysis is pivot tables. We'll get to learn all about that. Even sorting and filtering. Formulas, Enter examples. Enter Tab. I'm in a 3rd level here. Adding by region, Enter monthly reports. I'm going to use my scroll bar, scroll arrow here on the slide pane. And I want to click right after Excel. And I see that horizontal line. Now I'm going to hit Enter. I'm going to come up and I'm going to format this. Here we're going to insert a paste special link. So I'm going to go to Layout. And I simply want a title. And I'm going to type example, colon. And we'll come back later and put an example of Excel there. And I'm going to scroll down. And now I'm going to put my cursor in right after that example slide and hit Enter. And come up and do Layout blank. Why blank? Because we're going to have a video here that will autoplay during our presentation. Wow, I've committed the cardinal save as sin. Look at this up here. We've been working hard on this video and we've never saved it. I'm going to hit F12. I'm going to direct it right to my PowerPoint class notes right there. And I'm going to click in the file name. Business 216 presentation. Where do you want to save it? Class notes PowerPoint. What do you want to call it? Business 216 presentation. And what file type? PPTX. Click Save. And there we can see right up there, boom, we have our name. Now we need to go to our website and download 2 files. Alt-Tab. I'm going to jump over. If you want to get to this page here to download, click on the link below the video. Hey, we're going to download 2 files. The first one is Excel for PowerPoint.xlsx. I'm going to click on that. Save as. And I'm going to direct it to my PowerPoint class notes. So there we go. PowerPoint class notes. Where do you want to save it? What do you want to call it? We're going to leave that name, and the extension we're going to leave also. Now this next file we're downloading is an AVI. I'm going to right click, Save Target As. Direct it to the same location. You can see the address up here. Keep the file name and the file type. I'm going to click Save. If you don't have Windows Explorer open, Window E. If you do have it open, then you can Alt-Tab and we'll stop Window E. PowerPoint, and so we can see our video there. That may take a little bit to download. We would like to open up Excel for PowerPoint. Control and roll to zoom in. Alt-Tab, and I'm going to stop in PowerPoint. Let's click on slide number 7. So over here we have a placeholder, and down here we want to paste special link. As we saw in Word, we can copy something from Excel and paste it either in Word or PowerPoint and have a link. So if we change it in Excel, it'll automatically change over here in PowerPoint. Alt-Tab. In Excel, we have a selection cursor. We want to click in cell A1 and then hold it and drag to highlight. Control C to turn the dancing ants on. That's copy. When you see those dancing ants, you know it's copied. Sometimes it means cut, but for us it's copy. Alt Tab, and I'm going to stop. Whoops, I went by. By the way, Shift Tab goes back when you're doing. So Alt Tab goes forward, Alt Shift Tab goes back. That's a hard keyboard. So if I pass it, I usually just keep hitting Tab until I get to it, re-get to it. I selected slide number 7. Let's come up to Paste. Paste Special. That's in the Home ribbon. Boop. And here's our dialog box we saw over in Word a few videos ago. Paste Link. A few of you did not in class. Click this, and of course then it takes the default, which is paste. So if you want a link, select Paste Link. Let's do Microsoft Excel Worksheet Object and OK. Now there's a link here. We can resize this. Alt-Tab, and of course, if we change anything like 500, it will change over here because we have it open. If we didn't have it open when we opened the PowerPoint for the first time, as we saw a couple of videos ago, it'll ask. It'll say, hey, do you want to update? There's a link here. All right, so I'm going to close this Excel file. I'm going to save it. All right, so now we have, let's close this. Control S and close PowerPoint. I'm in Windows Explorer. I'm going to double click and open it up. Just to reinforce this, this presentation contains links. I'm going to update these links. Here's something new in Office 2013. It will show up in Word and PowerPoint. And I love this for working on big documents. It says, welcome back. Where would you like to go? If I click on slide 7. Now here for a small PowerPoint, it's not too much trouble to scroll yourself. But I know over in Word, when I'm working on big documents with many pages, I love that feature. It always pops up on the right there. Trying to be polite, remembering where you were last time. OK, so we've inserted a Paste Special link. When we run our PowerPoint, we'll have this slide number 6, and we'll talk about it. We'll show a quick example. And now on slide number 8, if I select in the slide pane, I want to insert a video. And this is brand new in 2013. In earlier versions, you can insert a video, but it was much more complicated and difficult. Insert media. In the textbook, they'll show you how to do both. I'm just going to show you in this video, show you how to insert a video, online video, or video on my PC. We have our video, so let's click that one. And we'll drill down into our PowerPoint class notes. So there it is. I'm going to double click. And it's polite. It gives you a little message that says it may take a while. If you click cancel, it will cancel it. So I'm not going to click cancel. PowerPoint is upgrading this media file to optimize compatibility and playback. So it's actually going to convert it, if necessary, and embed it in our file. Our file size will increase dramatically. And there we go. Look at that. It put it on the full screen. If you didn't want that, you could point to the edge and drag it. But hey, we inserted a blank slide. I'm going to Control Z and leave it just like that. Now here's what's so cool. There's some new ribbon tabs. Video tab. Now you could format it, adjust it. I'm not going to do that. But playback, click on that. And we can do a bunch of things. We can trim it, fade it, hide while not playing, loop until stopped, rewind after playing. Let's go ahead and play it. You can see the time going over here. So I'm thinking I want to trim this and make it a little bit shorter. So we're going to go up and click the trim button. And all you have to do is move the green and the red and click OK. It will keep the whole video, but it will only show this part that you've chosen between the green and the red in the video. I'm going to click the play and decide where I want to stop it. Alright, so I've decided at 20.733, so I'm going to drag this. And we can also come down here. So 20.724, that's right after we converted it to a table. So there we go there. All the way to end. I'm going to click OK, and now this will be the starting point. The video will still be here if you want to come back and untrim it or do something later. Click OK. So what's nice is up on slide number 6, we talked about calculations and data analysis, and then right away it'll show us 2 examples of that in our PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so we have our video here. Let's go to our next slide, Access. Access is different than our other programs. Windows Explorer does file management. Word, we do documents with lots of words. PowerPoint presentation, Excel, data analysis and calculations. But Access is a true database. Database does 2 things. It stores raw data. All entities, whether Highline Community College, Target, Google, they all have lots of raw data. So database has to be able to store raw data, and then it has to be able to convert that raw data into useful information. Now, just like we saw with our bulleted list, if we want to amend something, we can come up, hit Enter, and then I'm going to hit Tab. Tables are the objects that we will use to store our raw data. Convert raw data to useful information. We'll use queries and reports. All right, one last slide. We have mail merge. So mail merge will allow us to connect a document like a letter to a database. So if we have the same letter we want to send to 100 customers, type the letter once, that's the document, connect it to the database with all the addresses, and boom, it'll do all 100 letters for you. Some of the databases that we can use are Excel or Access. Now, Excel is not really a database, but people do store information there in database-like forms, and we'll talk about that when we compare Excel and Access. All right, I'm going to Control S to save this presentation. Escape to get us back to edit mode. Now, our next step, I would like to select slide number 7 and change the theme. So with slide number 7 selected, I go up to Design. I'm going to click More. I find Parallax, and I can click to select my theme. Oh, but that's exactly what themes do. Click once, and it applies to all. So in this case, that's not what I want to do. Control Z. I'm going to select slide number 7. And instead of clicking, I'm going to right-click Apply to selected slides. So I can have one or more slides selected, and when I select Apply to selected slides, boom, only those selected slides get the new theme. And I could change my variant also. Next, we'd like to talk about transition and animation. But before we do that, let's play our PowerPoint presentation. We could go to Slide, as we saw in our last video, Begin, or F5. From current slide, Shift F5. Escape. I'm going to hit F5. Arrow key, down arrow, down arrow. Down arrow goes forward, up arrow goes backwards through the slides. You can also hit Enter, Space, or click to move forward through the PowerPoint presentation. Now notice there's no movement on the slide, that's called animation, and there's no movement between the slides, that's called transition. So I'm going to escape to get back to edit mode, and now we want to go to transitions. Now notice I have slide 3 selected. Transitions, I can come over and click the More, and I can pick whatever transitions I want. Fracture, crush, peel off. Let's try peel off. Hey, that one's looking pretty good. I'm going to select a sound. Sound may not show up on my computer here, but it will show up when I run the PowerPoint presentation and I have speakers, and I want to select the duration. Sometimes you have to go play it and see whether the duration is long enough or not, and then come back and edit this. The trick to transitions. Look at this. There's a star on number 3, but no stars anywhere else. So I have selected a slide, and I could select just a few. When I click on transitions or any of these sounds or duration, it only applies to the selected slides. So if I wanted to apply to all, apply to all. Boop. And instantly I get apply to all. Now I'm going to hit F5. Hey, there's that sound. I don't think you can hear that though. And I'm going to hit the arrows. Oh, that's great. Movement between the slides. That's transition. Escape. Now, animation. We could just go here and select a single slide and then select the placeholder or object that we have on our slide and do animation. But I don't want to do each slide individually. So instead, I'm going to go to the Slide Master. Now, the Slide Master is under View, Master Views, Group, Slide Master. This will allow us, if we scroll all the way up to the top and select the big one at the top, whatever we do to this slide, whether it's color, animation, or formatting, it'll apply to all the slides. So sometimes that's just what you want. I don't want to do animation to each slide, but I wanted to do it on the Slide Master. Now this slide, the Slide Master, the big one at the top, if we do animation, it will affect all of the slides here. If you want to do different animations on different layouts, you can do that also. Now we have 2 different themes, so we'll have to add our animation to the large slide on each theme. It's pretty easy. I'm going to click over here, selecting one of the objects I want to animate, then go to Animations. I want to be sure and select the animation pane. If it's not selected, click on it. As we add our animations, they'll pile up here, and we can alter them and select them using this pane. The first title is selected. This is on the Slide Master. I'm going to select whichever one from here. You can select your more. Emphasis, exit, we're not going to do those. I'm simply going to fly in. Boop. And there we have a number 1, and over in this animation pane I can see a number 1. For some of the animations, you can come over to Effects and change the effect options. I'm going to say from the left. So I'm going to select my second placeholder, come up and select Animation Fly In. Oh, there's a bunch of 2s. I'm going to come over here and make it from the left so it's consistent. And now let's run. Let's click play. And this play doesn't really help us. What we really want to do is go watch the PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to F5. Hey, wait a second. What happened to our title? Oh, I'm going to hit down arrow. So it looks like we have to hit our down arrow to get our title. That's not what we want. I'm going to click Escape. Still back in Slide Master. I'm going to come over here and select that title. And what we want is we want to look up here under Timing Group. Start, I want to say with previous. That'll put a 0 right there and a 0 right there. That means when we hit Enter or forward arrow on the previous slide, this will automatically slide in also. Let's go ahead and hit F5. And there we go. Arrow to move forward. Now notice that our sub-bullets are flying in with the top bullet. If you don't want that, Escape. You can come over to Slide Master. Make sure we're in the Animations tab. We can see our animation pane. And I can select, and I'm going to come up and change it Start, not with previous, but on click. And then instantly we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's hit F5 and start the presentation. So this one all was working before. They were bullets. But now when we get to our next one, the sub-bullets also come in when we hit our down arrow or Enter. escape. So we used animations, the animation pane, and Slide Master. Now I'm going to close the Slide Master. Let's click down on 7. And I'm going to use Shift F5. Oh, look at that. It's not animated. When I hit down arrow, the video is not playing. Down arrow. Oh, but the next slide is. So I'm going to click Escape. We need to go back to Slide Master, and we have to add our animation to this theme. View, Master View, Slide Master. And now I'll select the one on the top. Title, Animations, Fly In from the left. Change it to with previous. There's our 0. Select the next placeholder, Fly In from the left. And for start, I'm going to say on click. Go back to Slide Master. Close. That slide is selected. Shift F5. Ooh, and so the example works. We still have to fix that video, but let's click Escape. So for this, this was blank. The animation is connected to those placeholders. So why don't we animate this particular object on the individual slide? Animations. Fly in from the left. And on click will be fine. Shift F5. And so that one is working when we hit our down arrow. Escape. Let's go to slide number 8. Click on the slide and playback. Let's change start. We'll change start to automatic. And I'm going to click on the slide before, Shift F5. Arrow to move forward. Arrow. And so that is playing automatically. That's pretty cool. Escape. Big full screen video playing in our PowerPoint. Now a couple things left. If you have a slide and you want to have a piece of paper that you can read from during your presentation, which is usually not a hallmark of a good PowerPoint presentation. Usually good PowerPoint presentations you practice and you don't need any prompts, but occasionally it helps. You can come below the slide and type notes. And then there's a special way we can print these out for the presenter. So you can type whatever notes, in every single slide has the ability to put notes below. Now we can move this back down. Right, and you can move it right down the screen, but those will print out. Now let's go look at print. Control P will open up our print dialog box and print preview. Now, the first drop down offers us, hey, do you want all the slides? Just the selected slide or slides, current slide, or even a custom range like, hey, print out 5 to 8. The next option here, and actually we want to notice something. There used to be an orientation drop down here for portrait and landscape. And you know, I've been using PowerPoint for a while, and it wasn't until someone in class pointed out that, hey, that'll show up when you select something from this drop down. Now, here we can decide how to print out notes. Let's see, look at that one. Notes, and sure enough, the orientation button shows up. Notes. That's a great printing option for the presenter. You have your one slide and then your notes. Another option here, good for the viewer of the PowerPoint presentation, is 3 slides. 3 slides with notes, and then as you're watching, you can take notes. Another good option for the viewer is 4 slides per page. Now notice, this is portrait, so these slides are a little bit small. If we change the orientation to landscape, boom, much bigger. Now, we also probably want to adjust header and footer. We'd like to have some slide numbers on each slide, and then a page number maybe at the bottom. So we're going to go to header and footer. Notice there's 2 tabs, slide, notes, and handouts. So we want page number at the bottom here, and we also want our footer. I already typed that out. Business 216 is fun. Then we go to slide, and here we can say, hey, give me a slide number, and that'll show up right on each slide. Apply to all. We could see our slide numbers are showing up here, but look at this. This is not looking good. This kind of stuff comes from the slide master. So I'm going to click Escape, View, Master Views, and there we have Handout. Also Notes. You can go adjust the master there. I'm going to say Handout. And here's the master. And we can see down at the bottom here are our footers. Now I'm going to click on one and hold Control and click on the other one. And one way to fix this problem, hey, I'm using my arrow key to scoot these up. Now we will close our master. Control P. And there's our footers down at the bottom. And we can preview moving forward and backwards. Escape. All right, that was a lot about PowerPoint. We saw how to do all sorts of things: design, videos, paste special links, transitions, slide master, animation, and even page setup and printing. All right, we'll see you next video. And next week, we will start the most fun program there is, Excel. All right, see you next video.